Hi everyone. So let's start with a Jupyter notebook or a Jupyter lab. So we have seen how to install the Anaconda and we have successfully verified what are all our required library like a NumPy library or Pandas or a Matplotlib library for the visualization purpose. Now in this video, we'll start our Jupyter notebook server or Jupyter lab notebook, I would say, and then we'll just walk through the UI of this Jupyter lab. Now, this Jupyter Lab is nothing but some sort of, you can say, the fancy version of Jupyter Notebook, plus it has some more functionality has been added to the Jupyter Notebook. So whatever the code I am going to share with you, which is nothing but a .ipynb file, so IPython notebook file, all those code has been successfully run on a Jupyter Notebook also and on Jupyter Lab server also. Now in this course, throughout this whole course, we are going to use this Jupyter Lab only. So let me just open Anaconda prompt and we'll start the Jupyter Notebook. I'll show you how to start it and then we'll go to the Jupyter Lab to get started. Okay, to get started with the Jupyter Notebook, you can just go to the place where all of your IPython notebook file has been reside and just type Jupyter space notebook. Now we are not going to continue with this Jupyter notebook, but if you are already comfortable with the Jupyter notebook, you can always go ahead. I am going to continue with the Jupyter lab. So I am just pressing here Jupyter space lab and it will start internally the Jupyter notebook server only. And automatically this lab part will be opened at localhost :8888/lab. Now many of the times I have already started this server and I have already given a password, so that's why it has not asked me this token or password again. But if you are starting this Jupyter notebook server first time, so in that case, along with this localhost :8888, it will provide you here token also, and that token you need to supply while entering into this Jupyter notebook or a Jupyter lab server. So our fancy Jupyter lab has been started and this is the IDE we are going to use throughout this whole course. Now as I have started this Jupyter lab notebook on this particular location like a C drive, user and PC, so it has listed down all those files and folder on my current directory and I can just navigate any of this file from here. So that is one beauty. So let me just enter to, let's say, document. So I can just navigate to any other folders from here. You can go to, let's say, I would say music even. So you can navigate any of them and you can even open here. So all those text related file like a CSV file or a textual.txt file or a python.py file, it all will be open here. So this is one of the extra facility, or I would say extra functionality has been added to this Jupyter lab notebook compared to this Jupyter notebook only. So you can just navigate from all of your file at this particular place only. Now apart from that, there are all usual buttons like a file, and from that you can create your new Python console or new Python notebook or terminal or a text file. Let's just create first a new Jupyter notebook file. So from this launcher button, I'm just going to create this Python 3 and you can see it has created one untitled.ipynb file. Now the full form of this ipynb file is nothing but the IPython notebook file, because earlier when this project launched the very first time, it was the name called after like a IPython notebook file, and after that it has been renamed to the Jupyter notebook, and now we are starting or we are running this same thing on a Jupyter notebook server, but our fanciful UI like a Jupyter lab, which is giving some more extra functionality. So apart from that, you can even create a new launcher from here and you can create a new folder from here. You can upload your local file to this particular place at this moment. You can refresh all your file list, and I have created here the new untitled Python notebook file. So just right click on that particular place and you can just rename it. So I'm just going to give the name like a my Jupyter lab notebook. Okay, so you can see the name has been completely changed. You can even click here and you can collapse this left panel bar, and you can again click and you can expand it. Okay, so I'm just going to click, and so we can get more room here. I'm going to press here F11 so that we can see into full screen mode. Okay, now every single line here where you can write your Python code and you can execute it. So let me just write a very simple Python code. Let's say 3 plus 4. Now to execute this particular cell, you have to press like a shift enter. So shift and enter, and it will immediately give the result in a next cell, like 3 plus 4 7. You can write a code like a print, and you can just put like a hello and press shift enter, and you can get the result in a next cell. Now for this particular IPython notebook file, the number of options are available. So let's say you can save file from here, you can close it from here, you can even create the new file from here. You can edit you can copy some cells and paste some cells, you can create new cells, you can split some new cells. So this individual line is called as a cell, and this is called as an output of this particular cell. Apart from that, there are some kernel level functions. So if you just want to restart the full Python kernel, or you want to shut down the Python kernel, you can do it from here. If you want to run all the selected cell or all the cells in this particular notebook, you can do it from here. Okay, so this is the basic idea how to go ahead in this Jupyter Lab notebook. Now apart from this shift enter, there are other visual buttons are also available. Like from here you can save this particular notebook, you can create new cells. So if I just click on it, see the new cell has been created. You can even cut the selected cell, so you can see cell has been selected. You can even copy the cell. So I have selected this particular cell, I am just going to copy it and then paste cell from the clipboard. So you can see the new cell has been created with all our earlier code. You can even select some particular cell and run this particular button. So this button is for the running, so you can just select it and it will execute that particular cell. Now after that, there is a one interrupt the kernel. So let's say somehow you written a code which goes into infinite loop and it just keep running, and if you just want to abruptly stop all your running code, so in that case you can just click on this interrupt the kernel. So this is how you can write all your Python code. You can even write the Python comment also. So it's a Python comment, and you can just execute with this particular button. See, nothing happened because Python has identified that this is a Python comment. Now apart from writing Python code, you can even write some sort of heading and markdown text also. So all those code what we have written, by default this drop down has been selected like a code because it's a Python code we are writing. Now let's say I want to write some heading or some comment. So let's say this is my notebook, but I don't want to execute as a Python code. So in that case I can just simply select this code, and from this drop down I can just make it like a markdown. So now this code won't be interpreted as a Python code, and here as usual like a first level headings hash and then space I'm just going to give. Now you can see the color of this particular text has been completely changed. Now if I just execute it, you can see this is not interpreted as a Python code. Instead of that, it has been interpreted as a markdown text. You can even write like a, let's say this is second level, and I'm just going to give 2 hashes, and let me just select it markdown, and let me just execute it. So this way you can write all those kinds of heading and markdown text also you can write inside your Jupyter notebook. We have a one help menu is also available. So for Jupyter Lab reference, or for NumPy reference, or IPython reference, SciPy, or Pandas reference, there are all documentation. If you just click on it, it will be navigate to the documentation of those particular library. Now if you want to get some shortcuts to, let's say, create a cell, or to create a or delete a cell, so you can just go to just on a left panel bar, just select on this command palette, and whatever task you want to perform, just write it here. So let's say I want to copy. So for copy cell, there is a C. Now whatever the command has been given here for notebook cell operation, that won't be executed like this. So if I just type like a C, it will be in a editing mode, so it will be written like a C. We don't want Jupyter Notebook to interpret like a C. Instead of that, we want to copy. So what will happen that we have to just select one particular cell, so it has been copied. Now let's say if you want to create a new cell with some shortcut button, so this particular Python code we want to convert it into markdown cell. So from here you can just select and make it markdown, or if you want to do from the command, you can just press escape. Now once I press the escape, you can just observe that this blue line has been changed. So now blue line has been lost, because once I press into escape while selecting some particular cell, I am in a escape mode. Now once you are in escape mode, all those command line shortcut, all those shortcuts key you can apply on the top of it. So to create a new cell, there is a one shortcuts like a escape and a B. So I am just pressing here escape, so I am not in editing mode, so whatever I type, it won't be written here. Instead of that, I am just going to type B. So you can see new cell has been keep creating. So I am just pressing B, and if I just press X, the cell has been deleted. Okay, so you can just explore yourself with different shortcuts button, and if you are already familiar with such a kind of UI, you already aware about those kind of shortcuts. So my idea here is to just give you a basic overview and idea behind it, how to walk through and how to use this Jupyter Lab notebook. Okay, so this Jupyter Lab notebook we are going to use throughout this whole course. So I want you to make sure that all three libraries, Python environment plus this Jupyter Lab or Jupyter Notebook, should be running on your local machine before you get started into Python section or a core pandas section like a series object or a data frame object. If you are still facing some issue related to installation or getting this Jupyter Lab or notebook to get started, please write your question into Q&A. I'll be very happy to help you. Okay, so that is all about this video.